Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is another one of our Rich Reflections sessions where we're going to take about 30 to 50 minutes out of our day to simply just think more intentionally about our own lives. And through this thoughtful response to some of these questions, we can gain a little bit more clarity so that moving forward, we can go at lightning velocity in the direction we want to be headed. So we'll start this session, how we do every session, and that's 5 minutes of breathing. That's it. We're just going to sit here and breathe for 5 minutes. It'll be interesting. I'm recording this outside. We'll see what kind of shade we get as the sun moves about, dances, if you will. Okay, so I set a timer for 5 minutes. We're just breathing in, breathing out. This might not seem significant, but when you do it time after time, habitually, it just is overwhelmingly positive. So breathe in, breathe out. If thoughts come to mind, just let them pass. They're not important right now. And we want to try to sit up straight, as if our spine is on a string and someone's pulling it up. We want to kind of have that attentiveness. But we're just breathing in and out. All right, we're back. I'm recording this outside by the pond, and the sun. No clouds. I'm recording this. It's like the sun is very directly above me, whereas I feel like the last 3 or so, it's been a little bit to the west. So if the clouds aren't there, it's beating down. And it's amazing just in 5 minutes how much changes with clouds and the sun. Anyways, hope that was very rejuvenating for you. 5 minutes of breathing. And we'll start this session how we do every session after how we usually do breathing. And that's just asking the question, what are we grateful for? It's such an easy way to frame our state of mind moving forward. Yeah, got all sorts of critters. Isn't that interesting? I flicked a spider and it grasped my pants, like really held on. I just find that interesting. Yeah, I'm back on the farm. This last weekend, what is this? That is interesting. It's like a mushroom. I was in Chicago for 2 days. And Chicago in the summer is just radically different than in the springtime. Even like late spring. Even like mid-June a little bit. Late May, I should say. It's just sheer joy and bliss and happiness. And there's just this energy that really uplifts, and just everything is better. Everything. Walking down the street, it's just better. And a lot of it has to do with probably like 10 months out of the year, 9 to 10 months, it's not like that. So there's kind of like this release of energy and joy. So what's something like that you've experienced? It could be a city, it could be in your own life where you live. But what's that thing that is consistent and just uplifts everything? Yeah, so much joy. It was so fun. What I love doing is taking my computer down there and just being in the membership lounge at the Art Institute. This great space, free coffee and tea and just these glass panels, and it's just the skyline of Chicago, and then the other side looks out into Lake Michigan. It's pretty great. Fastest Wi-Fi that I've experienced ever in the city. It averages 365 megabytes a second, download, upload, around there, lightning quick, and everything's just clean and crisp. And then the other aspect So it has more of a minimal contemporary feel. But then the other place I love going is the Athletic Association on Michigan Avenue, and being in the lobby, working there. Something that's changed with that is it's less of a place you can just kind of hang out. That's what the vibe used to be in this like lobby. You could just like show up and just do your thing. But now they've turned it into like kind of some upscale dining. They have some areas closed off. The architecture is Venetian Gothic, and it feels like an old hunting lodge, like a really fancy one from like the 1890s. I think it was 1893. Well, it was for the World Fair. They built it during the World Fair of 1893. But the internet was really bad. Now the internet's fantastic there, the Wi-Fi. Hyatt owns it now. I think there was a change with it. But then there's just like this one big table that people work at. And so I was there in the Art Institute. And I wrote my half of a book we're putting out called 2 Views, 1 Vision. And then I made 3 music albums. It was so much fun. And seeing some friends. Again, the weather. Beautiful. What's your favorite place to be creative? Yeah, we all tend to have our different experiences, different preferences. To me, it's interesting to hear other people's kind of preferences. It's so relaxing here right now. It's like 85. I'm looking at the silos under these oak trees. I have a tent set up. It's a 6-man tent. And I've been sleeping in it. Some nights not. I'm blown away by how easy it is to set up tents now. It used to be such a pain in the ass. It's a huge ordeal, right? Like these pipes, and then you gotta configure them to here, then you gotta interlock them here. Now it's just like, you can put it up in less than 5 minutes. In the time we spend just breathing, in that timer, we could probably set up that tent. And before it would take like an hour, you know? So I think that's a really impressive progression. What other things have you noticed that kind of progression, that same difference in like a 30-year span? Now, tech is easy, so maybe don't do that one. Do something else. Thinking of lawn chairs. Remember folding chairs? I remember when folding chairs came out. That seemed like such a big deal. Everybody was getting them. Before, you used to have these like fold-up chairs. And they would have this kind of like It's like fibers that were so stiff. And I remember seeing like old photos, like family album photos. People are sitting in these chairs. Now there's some like high-end ones. My buddy Joe, when I was visiting him in New York last year, he was about to go on this camping trip. Him and his high school buddies, once a year, they pick a location and they have a weekend and they do a camp out. And he showed me this thing he got. It's in a bag about this big. And it like turns into this chair you can sit on. Pretty remarkable. Engineering for leisure. Coolers have cooler technology. I'm saying all the things that have to deal with summer right now. Log splitting, that's one. Okay, this question, a little different. What is our evaluation of our generation? So if you're watching this, consuming it, you're probably millennial or Gen Z. What is your assessment of our generation's attributes, strengths, areas of improvement? I was in a session earlier today, and this book Generations came up. It's heavily influenced how I view not only politics but the world and society. That, you know, oftentimes we look at everything through a lens and prism of ideology, but I think that's small thinking. I think when we're able to zoom out, we see there's much more similarities, not in people who share the same ideology as you. It's more so like generational values, generational experiences, life experiences, and I think that brings together more people rather than like, here's a list of what you should believe, here's what we believe here, here's what we believe here. This approach is much more inclusive in problem solving, looking at things more long term rather than, you know, this just like tug of war that can change like that. So much so, I felt compelled to order a copy of this book for this individual. Yeah, general notes on our generation, strengths, areas of improvement. I find it fascinating. Much more holistic. if like your views fit perfectly inside a box, you need a larger examination of life and the self. Yeah, I think it's so fascinating. I'm really curious to get this person's feedback. I'm at a great point right now. I just feel relaxed. Because last weekend was kind of this turning point of my aim is to publish books every month, new books every month. I shoot for the 25th of the month because it's 2025. So that way, if we shoot for that, we can get pretty close. And then if we need to make adjustments, we can still do that by the close of the month. I've been a little distracted making music, but our floor is 3 books a month. We've been consistent with that since, I believe, April. That's fun. Yeah, so this last week, everything started falling into place, or I put them in place, or got help putting them in place. It's going to be fun. We've got this philosophy book, we have a poetry book, and Pride and Prejudice Rich Edition. Those 3 are the ones I've been especially collaborating with others on. And whether or not there's, I would say 6 on the table, there's 3, it's simple, these simple lyric books, but I've been a little stubborn with. Sometimes what's easiest is the hardest. I find that, especially with logistics. For me, it's a concern. Not a concern, it's an area of improvement. I'd rather take on the huge challenge than do this little thing right here. Hey, send this email. Yeah, pretty chill. Just so much life. Life is so colorful right now. This ant on the table is enormous. Let's think about something we're grateful for, again, in terms of health. I was eating breakfast this morning with my grandma, who's 95. And she's complaining about she's got some pain in her heel. And we're going through. She's like, I haven't been using it. I haven't been walking around a lot. And the main theme is that old age. Yeah, it could be just old age, that things just aren't working right. We're sharing a laugh with this because it's this, and then in order to remember something, you got to write it down, but then your eyes are so bad that you can't see. And in the meantime, you need hearing aids so you can hear. Old age is not kind, but It really helps to have a sense of humor with it. Like everything, breathing and a sense of humor. I'll never forget that. I was asking a friend that in the green room, he just performed like it wasn't his biggest show, because he's played at Red Rocks and toured the world, but like this Chicago show sold out 2 nights, and they did like a live recording of it too. And we're in the green room, and fans are around him and executives. And when he had a free moment, I went up to him and I pulled him aside. I'm like, hey, what goes through your mind with all of this? And he answered, breathing and a sense of humor, which is interesting. It's very simple. He could have been really philosophical with it, but it's like, no, like breathing and a sense of humor. And I think that goes a long ways. So think on just breathing and a sense of humor. Would that enhance our life quite a bit? Would that help us in life? Just now having this random thought about HDMI cables and the like aux cables. Not the aux, the like audio, video, the yellow and the red. This is me not being present right now. I'm thinking about like an hour from now. Setting up a TV in the office. It's an old TV from like 2008. Did we have HDMI cables back then? Or do I need to, Now I have the Blu-ray DVD that I intend to watch, but when I tried it last night, it didn't recognize. It has a DVD slot built into the TV. You remember those? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you remember the VHS tapes in the TVs, but it didn't recognize this disc. So I'm gonna take my Blu-ray player, 2013 Blu-ray player, hook that up, but then do I have the cables? Yeah. Now let's take a step back, breathe. Being present right now, what do we recognize? What are we aware of? Something I notice is how much more time I'm taking with my writing, just writing these questions down. I feel like when I'm not relaxed, I'm like really going fast with it. Speed is great as long as it's in a direction, I think. Yeah. I'm the most prolific music artist of the 21st century, and I'm designing for my second act. My first act was 17 albums in 6 weeks. 215 original songs, surpassing the Beatles by 2. They had 213 original songs. Not original songs. They had 188, but with covers, 213. That's where that number comes from. Thinking releasing an album every day of the week. So that'll be 7. But I might make an 8th just to get an even 25. Because 25, I'm like using that this year as like my number. Jordan, 23. Kobe, 24. Rich Hebron, 25. And this all started again with curiosity. So let's lead into this question. What are we curious about recently? One of my answers for our philosophy book that Timothy Hayden and I are doing together is, it's kind of like, does everything happen for a reason? And I answer that. And something I mentioned is these pulling on threads, like seeing threads, being aware of what's happening, and, a little string appears and you're curious about it. Pull on that curiosity and see where it leads. I was curious about AI and just playing with AI to see like what we could do. And I'm finding that more and more working with people who are using ChatGPT creatively and in fun ways. When we get together, it's pretty extraordinary and electrifying of like how we're able to, like our level of doing things is just dramatically increased. And our output is just phenomenal. But again, like in the session today, we discussed fundamentals. Like, I've been working and practicing fundamentals for so long, and especially since 2018, where I have this framework that I'm able to improvise, that allows me to just improvise because I can always, like, I'm very grounded and solid. But, the age groups coming afterwards, if you don't have those fundamentals, then everything else is kind of off. And that can be dangerous. So I think that's, that instability is not something to take lightly. Okay, what are we energized for in the next week? Always good to have something to be energized about. It could be something simple, like your next meal that's coming up. Sitting there, being present, tasting our food. How often do we taste our food rather than just like eating and then moving on? I often kind of feel that way, like even at breakfast this morning. I eat oatmeal and eggs every day. The only thing that changes is the fruit I put in the oatmeal. Today was blueberries. And, I have this like full meal, and then next thing I know, my plate and bowl is empty, completely empty, and I'm washing the dishes. And it was like, that was quick. Did I taste my food? I ate it, but did I taste it? So I think that's interesting. Anyways, we're going to wrap up this session. Thank you for being here. All these little steps, they just add up. And it might not seem significant until it is. Until it's profoundly significant. Keep at it. Be consistent and do your thing. We'll see you next time. Inspire the future.